Now, episode 8 of Gangster was definitely one of the most simple ones that we had so far, but obviously, this late episode, it was definitely pretty good setup to reveal, more of like Alex's past, along with her brother as well, because he definitely appeared within the episode. But we see now that in the beginning, more tags are dead, and we see now that, we have these cops coming over there, and we see them now checking out the bodies. Now, I do believe that I saw the tags with like definitely low ranks. I do believe that like they were mostly all, D ranks, and so obviously now we learned that the anti-Twilight, they are now back. And they are definitely, coming back in full force by like killing these tags. But the thing is though, every Twilight that, they have been, killed so far, by them at least, they have been very low ranking members. So obviously they are now going after much bigger and better threats out there. They are starting with, the lowest of the low. But besides that, we go to Warwick, Nicolas and Alex, and we see them now working on some kind of shop, and we learn now that obviously this shop here was a weapon shop called Constance, and so we see that the girl who had worked there, I believe her real name was like Connie, but she told Alex when they met, to call her, Constance, and so we see at first, these two definitely hit it off, and it was hilarious how when Alex here had like offered her hand to shake, when they met, she had touched her tits, and so we see her now filling them up, and she said these feel so real, and Alex told her they are real, and that right there was hilarious because obviously, this girl is flat, where Alex is definitely not. And so we see both of them are definitely hitting it off, pretty well, and we see a nice friendship slowly forming between them. But we do learn now that there's like some party going on tonight, and Warwick like wants to take Alex there, and we see now, Nicolas, he had called Warwick, kind of like out on this, and he said that he knows that he doing it for his sake, so don't take it out, on Mr. Monroe or Alex, because Warwick just wished that like he was selling it. And once again, we have what Mr. Monroe said to Warwick, come back and slowly haunting him, and we even see now that like Nicolas had called him, his contract holder. So I do wonder if Nicolas does view him as a friend, or just right here, just a business, a business bond between them. So hopefully that right there will like definitely get, like explained fully later on, or it's possible that like Nicolas knows that right there might annoy him if he calls him that. So that right there could be the reason why he does it. But we see now that granny that appears in a few episodes, she actually came to this store, and we see now that her and Connie are actually related. And so we see that she was like talking to Alex and told her, that she should not stay with him too long, and asked her how long she would stay. And we even see that we learn actually that this granny actually cares about Alex, but of course, the way she shows that is by being, kind of cold, but at least truthful to her as well. And so we see that right there obviously annoy her, but it is nice to know that that granny does not hate Alex, but actually cares for her as well. And so now we see that, now we see that as the guys kept working, and Connie and Alex were like talking, we have, Connie asking her how long would she stay with the handyman, and ask her about her family, if one day she would return to them. And so that right there definitely kind of like triggered Alex a bit, because we see her thinking about, her family, and at first, she could not remember them, but we see now slowly her memories, were coming back to her, and we do learn that, she has a brother. But we see that just when you're going to, remember more, we see once again Barry, had reappeared, and that right there, was like her sign that, that her tranquilizer was now wearing off. But just when she was going to take another one, she was like shaking so bad that she actually couldn't do it. And we have Nicolas coming there, and putting his hands on her, like to calm her down and help her. And I thought that right there was like definitely nice. But for some reason, he actually, disappeared right after she had calmed down. I thought that right there might have been, a very nice moment. These two could have had, to get even closer to each other. But now we see that after they were almost done, after they were almost done preparing that shop, we see that it was like Warwick and Alex talking, and we see that she had told her a little about her past, how she didn't have a mother, and when she was gone, she was always comforting her brother. And so she was like wondering how in the world could she forget about him, because he is someone that should be pretty important to her. But obviously it was the drugs that Barry gave her that had messed up her memories that badly. And so now we see that when they were all going to leave, we have the granny who made too much of a certain food. I forgot what it's called, but we have all of them going to eat. We have Connie actually dragging Nicolas, and we see now that before Warwick had left, he had told Alice that like she can stay with them and use their sofa as a bed. And now for some reason, I'm not sure why, but after he said that, Alex seemed to have gotten pretty depressed, and we even see a single tear run down her cheek. And I'm thinking maybe she had wanted like Warwick to say maybe she can like stay in his bed, because it is possible that like Alex had definitely fallen for him. I'm not really sure, but I do wonder what that single tear was like all about. But we see now that on the east side, where the east gate is, someone is now trying to to enter the city, and obviously that right there has to be her brother, because not only do they have the same skin complexion, but of course he was like shown after she had finally remember him. But now at the night of the party, we see that the club that they were going to was named Bastard. And now to me, I'm thinking, why in the world would you name a club that? But it is possible that that name might be to throw dirt in the eyes of all these people that like look down on Twilight, because of course they can not go in there. And so now we see that when they entered, we have Warwick showing up late because he like getting scolded by the boss. But because this girl is like so young, he was easily able to be forgiven by like giving her these flowers. And so we see that when Alex found out that she was the boss, she had made a comment about her appearance, because she thought maybe she was the boss's daughter, but that was not the case. And so we see now that when the boss had noticed Alex's chest and was like going off, I found that pretty hilarious. But we see that this party was definitely not going how they wanted, because we see now that outside in the town we have all these anti-Twilights now running around targeting obviously Twilights. And so we see that at this point in time they were like hunting down 3 people, and one woman actually had a baby. She was a mother, and they were like still trying to kill her. And so we have Nicolas, who like watching somewhere, from up high, and of course, he was like joined by Warwick, who had got slapped by Alex because one of the boss's men was staring at her chest, and he charged him 100 for that, and that right there annoyed Alice and made her slap him. And I do wish that we could have saw that, because obviously she left a pretty big mark on his face. But we see obviously now they have to go down there and save those Twilights. And so of course while they began to work and Alex was left behind, we see her now in the club, obviously enjoying herself as she was drinking on a glass of wine. But there was like some song playing that she definitely knew, and we see now that while she was enjoying herself, she actually heard these gunshots. And so right now obviously she was going to report to the boss of what she heard. But she was stopped by like one of her men, because right now they cannot legally, help these Twilights like that. That right there is more of an undercover thing for them, because right now, even though they are one of the forefathers, who run the city, they still cannot act publicly. which like definitely sucks because that should mean that, you know, everything they have to do it seems pretty much, you know, very sneaky and underhanded. But of course, you know, they have a good purpose for like doing this. But we see that the reason why Warwick had brought her here is because he knows that like Alex can sing, and of course, you know, her job tonight was for her to perform. And so right now we see that, you know, when she was singing, she definitely had, you know, a beautiful voice. That song right there, to me, it was just so peaceful. It definitely, you know, kept me calm and very relaxed throughout the episode, because we see that, you know, you can still have action and you can still, you know, have like some sort of peace as well, because, you know, that's the song right there, and the action scene, like, to me, it mixed pretty well, surprisingly. But we saw, obviously, you know, Nicolas at least handled those anti-tags pretty well, because like I said, so far they were targeting, you know, D ranks. There is no way in hell, you know, no anti-Twilights could ever, you know, take on, you know, an A rank and be equal, at least not these, you know, posers, because to me it seemed like, you know, that's what they were. But we see that, you know, Alex's brother had came across, you know, the club, you know, the Ambassador Club, and so we see that obviously he must have heard that song, and he wanted to enter, but because he not a tag, he couldn't, and so that right there made those men, you know, throw him out like into some trash. But we see that, you know, Warwick, who was leading those other tags, took them to the club, and now, you know, they would be safe inside, because that right there was like in safe haven for them. You know, like, to me it seemed like almost like a shelter. But I definitely noticed that all the tags that were there, they seem to be somewhat of a low rank. So I do wonder, just in the world, you know, how do people, you know, become, you know, tags when they can't even take on, you know, like these fakers. Because we see now that when Alex was like done with her song, of course, and Nicolas had finished dealing with those anti-tags, we saw the real two anti-tags, as I want to call them. You know, we saw them now standing, you know, on some building, and we have the boy now who was like pretty bored. So obviously he wants to go down there and, you know, and start killing. And so right now we have that girl pulling out her sword, and that right there is where the episode ends. So it definitely seems like, you know, this fatal showdown between these true anti-tag or anti-Twilights and Nicolas is definitely getting closer and closer, because right now I do not see any other, you know, A rank or B rank tags, you know, around besides Nicolas. So I will say that it will happen, you know, much sooner than later. But the episode was like definitely enjoyable. I do want to see, you know, Alex meet her brother again pretty soon, because I do wonder, you know, why is he here? Because if this guy is not a tag, then it's possible that he knows that his sister is here, and maybe he has come to find her. But overall, a very solid episode. You know, Alex singing, and of course now that we finished with Wars and Nicolas Pass, it definitely makes sense that we get flashbacks of our own. And so hopefully, you know, they will continue this, and pretty soon she should meet her brother again, hopefully. But of course, I would love to hear what you guys thought about this. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.